guys, welcome back to Impossible Mowers. In today's video, just thought I'd give you guys an update. Just don't like to leave my viewers hanging there. To start off with, I'd like to show you guys what we've done with Chuck so far and where you're going to see him in future videos. Because we've done quite a lot as far as the steering system and the rack and pinion system and the lift kit. So we'll be talking a little bit about that today. But before we do that, I just want to let you guys know that the John Deeres that are sitting right over there, it's going to be a while before we can get a video on these puppies. Not because I don't have the time, but because the parts are coming in really, really late. As you guys saw in the earlier video of the John Deeres, the 317 ran really good, but it only drove in reverse, not ran in reverse. And some really cool guy commented saying that he had a good idea on why he was doing that, and I really like to try that out. And I really encourage you viewers to comment if you know anything about these mowers or anything else we've got here that we don't know about. Throw a comment down below. But nevertheless, this is pretty much good to go, except for some new spark plugs up front and possibly a new carburetor, but I really don't think it needs it. I think we just need to figure out the forward and reverse issue. With the 140 on the other hand, yes, we did replace the carburetor, but you can see it right there. Really good. And we did rig up a fuel system-ish, which does work. But right as I fixed the carburetor, the starter blew on me. It doesn't spin anymore, it smokes. So rather than repairing it, I'm just going to buy a new one. It's like 40 bucks on aftermarket for eBay. I tried to get things this old bone stock. I don't really like to get aftermarket because aftermarket only lasts you so long. But as far as the starter goes, I couldn't find nothing bone stock. I did find a few actually, but they were really expensive. And I just don't have the budget to pour multi-million dollars into this thing. So we're going to go aftermarket on the starter, but that's it. And then the spark plug came in from Germany. It took 4 months to get here. I ordered it back in, I think May or something. Maybe June, I don't know. I can't remember. It was a couple of months ago. So we do have the spark plug, but like I said, it's pretty useless if we don't have the starter to turn the motor over. So this is going to be a long time. I did buy the starter, but I don't know how long it's going to take. Just buying a simple spark plug took us a couple months, and it seems to be happening to a lot of people with classic tractors, cars, and etc. So just want to let you guys know these are not forgotten, and there will be videos in the future of these guys. Hopefully toward the end of September or early October we can actually get to see both of these run. That's my hope, but no promises. Don't want to leave you guys hanging. Just wanted to show you guys what is the haps with the Deeres. Like I said, they are not going to be forgotten. Hopefully we can get them running and driving this year. That would be the hope, and I'm trying my hardest to get these guys back on the road. And if we can't get them running, I'll just tarp them up real good and wait out the winter, and we'll give it the best shot in the summer or early springtime. So that is the hope and dream for the Deeres. Now with Krusty over here, she is really hurting bad. We got flats all around except for with this one tire. Electronics are shot, battery shot. I mean, we found a lot of rust holes underneath the frame on this driver's side fender. So we're gonna have to have this guy pulled into the shop so we can get a better look at that. So playing a bit of musical mowers here. When my mower's done, pull that out of the shop, tarp it, and then put this guy in and try to figure out what's going on. Regarding the rust issue, or in other words, just putting that aside, we also have to figure out a good steering system for it and a good belt system for it. So stay tuned. This will be on the channel very soon, actually, and I'll show you why. Chuck is really close to being done. I just got to buy a belt from Tractor Supply for it. But that is what's going on with the John Deeres and this mower. Now let's get back in the shop here. It's pretty rainy out, pretty wet. I have bought a brand new cast iron pulley. In case you guys are new to this channel, Chuck, like we said before, he is a 98 LT1000 Craftsman LT1000, a Sears product, and I've put a lift kit up front with rack and pinion steering underneath so we can have better steering ratio and a better geometry angle when we're rock crawling and stuff. What I've also done is I'm also pulley swapping. I've pulley swapped the mower. Haven't test driven it yet because we need a new belt. And I'll show you what that looks like underneath with the phone because that has a light with it. These lights are not as bright as they look. They are bright, but as you can imagine, they can only do so much. So we'll be having a look at underneath Chuck, showing you guys what we've done, and then explaining a little bit about the motor because that is an interesting story. So without further ado, I'm going to quit talking, switch to the phone camera, and I'll show you guys what we've done underneath. Alright guys, we're back. Like I said before, we're going to have a quick look at the front here and what we've done so far. As you guys remember in the past video, we did grease the axles successfully and I was able to get this little rubber shoe on. It just took a lot of gumption. To start off with, I bought like a little mini stick welder. Sitting under the US Jenny right now, but it was like 30 bucks. I was in a pinch and I tacked this weld right here. Not bad. Wouldn't call it a professional weld, but it's hanging on there. So basically what this is it's a shorter version of an arm because the arm that I bought was too long. So instead of sending it back, having to wait, then get a new one, I figured just chop it in half, weld it, call it a day. So basically, as you can see here, it's an arm that goes all the way out, an adjustable arm. And then we've got the rack and pinion steering with the two U-bolts, that bolt in the back there, which is pretty tough. And then you can see where we've got that shaft going from the top here all the way down, little U-joint shaft, a couple tack welds right in there, and then the steering system. Pull it out so you guys can see it. And yes, it does work, but the problem is it steers really hard. And the reason why it steers really hard is because I have not tuned the front end a bit. So when you turn it all the way left, this tire is still straight, which tells me that we have too much slack going on between the two tires. So all it is just tightening it up, tightening up the slack, and getting this other tire to cooperate. But that's pretty much it. Like I've said before, this is made so that you can go really fast, not like 40, but like a decent 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, and not have your front tires wiggle like this. That's why I got the new suspension parts for greasing up and the clips and stuff, because as you can see here, there is like barely any play, if any. And if you look at the Cub Cadet here, I don't know if you can see it. See that? You can see that play when I move the tire left and right in between there. And what that is, it's just stock lawnmower axling, basically, or whatever you want to call it. If this was to go 40 miles an hour or 20 miles an hour, your front wheels would wobble like this. And that's pretty dangerous because with a lot of slack on the wheel, you could flip over, or your tire can come right off, actually. But you can see here on the Cub Cadet, I'm just using the Cub Cadet as like an average mower kind of representation here. But you can see the amount of slack we have right there. A little bit of slack. And you can see on Chuck. Hold on. I'll show you here. There is no slack at all. Every time I turn this wheel, the wheel moves. The tires move. Move a little bit there. Maybe back. So there's no slack on this sucker, which is what we're looking for. But you can see how I really have to wrench it. And you can see how when I go all the way this way, this tire, pretty sharp. This tire not so sharp. There's a lot of slack, not too much, but a good amount of slack between both tires. So we have to tighten that up. And then you can see wheel straight here. I don't think it's wheel straight. So we have to do definitely some tuning. You can see this wheel straight-ish. And then you can see this guy's pointing a little bit that way, just a little bit. Not bad, but I'd like to do a good job. So that is the steering system. And you can see how we've spray painted the front axle here. Really, really awesome. I think it looks really nice, really tough, pretty mean, really awesome. Now, let's get to the motor. So I'll show you guys to start off with. We got that 6-inch pulley up front. We're not going to be going terribly fast, but more like a 12 mile an hour, 11 mile an hour ratio. And the reason why we're going that slow is because our pulley back there is a 9-inch. And when you run a ratio of 6 to 9, you got to remember, you mower guys out there will know, if you want to pulley swap your mower, the smaller the pulley in the back, the faster, and the bigger the pulley in the front, the faster. A common rule I've heard a lot of people talk to me about, and we're going to try to put it to the test here, is to run 2 of the same numbers at once. So basically, the same number you have up front, you're going to run in the back. So if I have a 6 up front, I'm going to run a 6 in the back. Or a 9 up front, a 9 in the back. And the reason we want to do that is it doesn't stress the transmission as much, A, and B, it makes it so that you're not going terribly uncontrollably fast, but you're going at a pretty nice pace. And it also makes it so that you can still have your rock crawling ratios for you manual guys out there, just like me. You can still go fast in 6th gear, but if you want to go for a nice rock crawl, drop her in idle, or just, you know, a couple notches before idle, and smack it in 1st gear, and you can still have that nice rock crawling ratio, and then you can get up and go in 6th gear. So, and then your 4th and 3rd gears are kind of your middle gears, they're kind of in between. So I really recommend, from what I've heard, I recommend you guys do the same number. Now, we will put this to the test. I don't know if that's true. I've seen it. I mean, I believe it because I've seen it on other people's mowers and it does work. But we will be putting that to the test with this mower. And if it does work, then that's going to be a common thing we're going to be doing with the mowers, even with Krusty over there, because he's really slow, like bad. So we got to get him sped up a little bit. The Cub Cadet is faster than Krusty, so that's saying something. So that's what we've gotten so far. You can see our belt here, really short. This is I think it's an 87-inch belt, this guy, 87-inch. And because we're running a bigger system, I might have to bump it up to a 90, maybe a 91 or a 92-inch belt. Possibly less, possibly more. I can't really say. Just a reminder, we are, like I said, running a 6 up front and a 9 in the back. And those are inches. Another thing I want to tell you guys, I made this just so I can show you guys what not to do. Don't do this kind of method to bolt your pulley in. When you buy these cast iron pulleys, whether it's off of Amazon, eBay, Pro Parts Direct, you name it, I'll show you here. You can see where there's a nut right there. There's 2 nuts and they're Allen keys. One is for the keyway so it can wedge itself into the shaft, and one is to tighten it. Do not trust those, because I personally have experienced times where I've trusted them and then they wiggle off over time, and then you snap a belt or you just drop your pulley mid-drive. Not fun. So what I recommend is you either buy a bolt and a washer to put on the bottom of it as you were to do with a regular front drive pulley, and that kind of protects it, and it gives you yourself a little bit of reassurance that you're not going to have that pulley slide off. This you don't want to use, you know, messy things like this, because you gotta think that motor's spinning really fast. These are not going to be very good methods of keeping the pulley on, and you can see how loose they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ball and get these nuts off. I just wanted to show you guys kind of like a what not to do thing, because I've seen people do this and they always tell me, oh, my pulley fell off. And then I look at it and they always wonder why it fell off, and they have all these different nuts on, and There's not even Loctite on it, you know, they'll just wiggle off, vibration. So, I can't get the nuts off, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the nut probably right at the top here. I'm going to cut it off and then also cut it right down by the threads here. Match both sides together, tack them, call it a day. So we'll have the right size, and I can use the thick washer that came with it so it won't slide off. So that is what we're going to be. Oh, I got the camera sideways. My bad. Sorry if you guys didn't see that. You see, just going to cut it right here in the front, cut it by the threads, push them together, tack them, use the washer. So that's just a quick little tech tip for you guys. Don't wash or stack. It's never a safe idea, and it's never a reliable one, because right when you start to do that washer stacking technique on something that's going really fast, such as a drive pulley or anything in your drivetrain here, you're just begging for something bad to happen. So remember, always play it safe. Just because they're advertised to stay on doesn't mean they're always going to stay on. So just keep that in mind. And let's see, right, the motor. So some of you guys may have seen the short that I posted of the old mower running and driving, or not driving, but running. I kid you not, 5 minutes after that post, I started leaking fuel profusely. It was just pouring out of the fuel line here somewhere, right around here. Couldn't figure out where until I figured out, my dumb brain, I put the wrong fuel filter on. You can see this fuel filter is way too short for something this big. It will run. I'm not saying it won't, and it will work. Like I said, I'm not saying it won't. But typically, these motors need a bigger filter for that fuel to flow a lot more efficiently. You can see here on the Pup Cadet, let's see, that's the size filter we want right there. See how big that is? And it's only a single cylinder. Imagine a V-twin. And here I go, putting this small little rinky-dink one on that I had around the shop. And you can actually see we're right here. Sorry, it's not on all the way, see that? What's happening is, because it's such a small fuel filter, the ports, or the little tunnels here that connect the fuel lines together, are too short. And what happened was all the fuel came down through here. It surprisingly didn't leak through here, which I was expecting it to. You can see it's the same gap. It went through the fuel filter, and then right at this gap, it leaked fuel. So I'm glad I didn't put a full tank, because I only, right about to there, just a quick test start. So yes, it was exciting to see it run, but it came at a cost. So always remember to put the right fuel filter on for your motor. I'm going to take this off, not in today's video. You can actually see that right there. See how small that is? Pretty small fuel filter for such a big engine. So I'm going to take this off probably later today, and go over to Napa or somewhere, Tractor Supply, get a couple of these, get a couple of the big filters, not these filters. So that's why you guys haven't been really seeing this motor run. I really wish I didn't make that mistake, but to be honest, it was pretty nice to see this puppy start up and run on that YouTube short. So it also gives me a little bit of faith. And I did notice we are running a HIPAA filter. HIPAA oil filter. And if you guys know anything about these oil filters, let's see, they are junk. They are made in China, not surprising. Most things are these days. And they are just junk. I've had to replace this exact same oil filter 3 times in a year. If you were to buy a K&N, a Mobile One, Kawasaki, or hell, just an original Kohler motor oil filter, you'd probably only be needing to change your oil once a month, or geez, once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on how much you're using the machine. You guys know we use this machine all the time, and we will be using it all the time when it's up and running. So I'm going to take this off, do an oil change. It does need one. It's been a while since she's had one. It's not terrible. Not terrible. I might just keep it on until she needs it, just because why drain all that good oil? Don't want anything to go to waste. So I really wish the owner who had this didn't put that on, but cheap is cheap, you know. I might put a Kawasaki on there, something strong, or just a regular Kohler. I mean, those are great. I put that on the Cub Cadet all the time, and it runs great. So just steer clear of the cheap stuff. It'll screw you over in the future. Right when you need the rig, something will happen. So keep that in mind. But that's pretty much it so far. Did spray paint the ram bar, but other than that, I mean, look at that rig, huh? Not bad. Nice lift up fronts, very successful. I think the CB still works. I'm not too sure. I haven't ran it in a while, actually. I can't see if that works. Maybe you guys can see it. Oh, there it is, yep. Oh, that's shocking. Yeah, so the CB still works, lights still work, everything still works. So I'm probably gonna buy like a K40, K30 CB antenna. We run CBs all over the mountain here, just for emergency sake. Oh yes, and the last thing, if you guys can spot what's wrong in this image, hooray for you, because she's tilted pretty bad. We have a flat on the left here, the right. I'm really tired today, and you can also see we're missing a bolt or two. Probably just the one bolt, and you can see how it's buckled, how it's kind of bent. Same thing on this side. This is what happens when you leave loosened bolts on a lawnmower and you don't bother to tighten them because you don't know what's happening. And then as you're riding on the trails, your transmission's going up and down like this, and it's bending the plate up and down. So that could snap it. I'm going to have to fix that before we run the sucker on the trails. And because this is an oiled transmission, I'm gonna have to pull it out and fix the gasket on it. And while I'm fixing the gasket on it, I'm gonna smack the old 5-speed back into it. So we'll have our old shifter gears back. It won't be a 6, but something. Five's better than none. 5 gears better than none. There's the 5-speed actually right over there. See, right there. I just have to buy a new I forget what they're called. Bevel gear or something. It's the main gear that turns the sprocket on that big wheel. I'm not explaining it very good, but I just gotta buy a couple of gears for it off a Dana Spicer and call it a day. So that is it with Chuck here, Krusty, and the John Deere. The Cub Cadet's been shockingly reliable, except for the battery, but crazy. Throw some parts that in, it behaves. So, like I said, that's it for today's video. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I know it had been 3 weeks before I had posted. I've been going through quite a lot lately. Just weather conditions have been terrible, and whatever good weather conditions there are left, I've been busy with work, trying to get some money. So gonna have to fight with that, you know. It's pretty tricky, but you know, I try to throw some shorts and stuff to keep you guys on the channel here. So like I've said, like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family. Check out the Patreon and the Instagram link down below. And if you guys have any more questions about Chuck, Krusty, or the John Deeres, please comment, let me know. Hell, if you even have an idea for this mower or any of the mowers that you want me to put on it, feel free to comment. I always welcome good ideas. Like if somebody says, oh, put a winch up front, I'll put a winch up front, or a winch in the back. You know, whatever you guys think would look good on this mower, comment down below, let me know, and keep the bell notification on so you guys can get these updates. So like I've said, I always check those comments, so give me a little something if you guys think we should add something to Chuck or the other mowers. Not the Cup Cadet though, because that is not a beater, that is our maintenance mower. So and I'm hoping to also spray paint this mower. You can see the different kind of colors she's been through. Spray paint it black, but I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Should I spray paint it black or back to silver? I don't know. I gotta get a new grill for it, the hood here, but let me know. Comment down below what you guys think we should do with Chuck here, or any of the mowers. So with that all said and done, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys next time.